1K by May. What up? It's Gadako Richard. I'm back here again. Thank you for 900 subscribers. 1K by May. We're gonna hit it. We're only like 80 subscribers away, so let's do it. It's simple. I'm not gonna ask you guys to subscribe because honestly, if the content's good enough, you're gonna feel obligated to do so. So I hope that if you see value in something, you want to see value in it again, and you're not just a one-hit wonder in terms of your knowledge. And if you're somebody who wants to consistently receive input, then you're gonna do the right actions required, right? My name is Gadako, and let's get into it. Today, I just kind of want to talk about one thing that has been on my mind. All of us should kind of be aware of, and should always be top of mind of like, what are we preparing for? What are you preparing for? That's the biggest question that you should be asking yourself on a day-to-day basis. What are you preparing for, right? Because the main reason you watch videos like this is honestly because in most cases, you don't have a plan. You're looking for guidance, you're looking for tools to succeed, to become a better version of yourself, or you already have succeeded in life and you're just looking for extra wisdom, because I do know some people who are doing really well for themselves and they watch my content. So you're just looking for extra wisdom, or you're looking to support your boy. Whatever one it kind of may be, I appreciate it, okay? But if you don't necessarily have a plan, that's something that we need to figure out, and we can figure out that later. But first things first is we need to figure out what you're preparing for. What are you preparing for as an individual, right? You need to know what. You need to know why, and why you're even watching these videos, why you're even delving into these skills. Because one thing that I found myself doing a lot is just being on a path of rigorous work and rigorous knowledge acquisition for not of reason. Like I didn't necessarily know, like I didn't have clarity behind why I was wanting to get all this input and knowledge. And that is what is going to cause your ruts. That's what's going to cause your lows to be low, very, very, very low, and to the point where you're just going to want to give off and quit, and you're going to venture way off of that path, right? So figure out what you're preparing for exactly. For me personally, the goal is to obviously, and it could be the case for you honestly, is probably to run a business online or in person, make tens to fifteens to $100,000 a month to be able to provide for your family to the degree that you want to. And I mean, if you can feel that same frustration that I'm feeling in terms of like, we're right here, you're right here, you're in the position of learning. You're trying to figure out what to do. What do I need to do to become a better version of myself, to be even deserving of those 50K months, 60K months, 70K months, whenever we kind of find that business model that will allow that kind of income. We're in that point, and you're in that point right now. So I want you to get even more frustrated with your current state. Right now, you're not where you want to be, bro. I'm not where I want to be either. And there's a lot of different reasons that lie behind that. But understand what you're preparing for, because all of this knowledge acquisition, all these videos that you're watching, it should be for preparation. This shouldn't necessarily be your entertainment. This is you literally acquiring the necessary tools to become the individual that's deserving of your goals. And that's kind of the next step, is like once you figure out what you're preparing for, you need to acquire skills accordingly. Right? This is why I didn't bother going to university. This is why I'm not going to bother watching certain shit on just meaningless stuff. I'm not going to learn about that stuff. I'm not going to delve into sports. I'm not going to delve into rap beef as much as other people are like, oh, I'll dabble. It's cool. Yeah, Drake's beefing this. But in reality, it's not the necessary tools that I need. It's not the necessary tools that I need. You need to be consuming all this content to become the individual that you want to become. And I'll say it over and over again. What kind of tools are you acquiring? Because if, for example, say you are preparing for war, you have a specific goal that you're preparing for. What do you need when you're preparing? What do you need when you're preparing? You need tools. You need to make sure you get the right amount of wood. You need to make sure you get the right amount of saws for the right amount of guys to cut this to cut the wood in the exact shapes and the exact measuring. You need measuring tapes to make sure everything fits in its according pieces. You need to make sure that you're prepared and you're getting the necessary tools, bro. I've talked about this before, and it's especially for us young men, we're going to be on this path of acquiring the necessary tools to build the staircase to who we want to become. And everybody wants to be in the time of building. We're not at that stage yet where we can start to build. There needs to be a step one, acquisition, get the necessary tools. For me personally, right now, I'm in a sales job where I'm just acquiring the skill of sales, learning how to sell a product, learning how to convince somebody to sign a piece of paper and take on a 50 to 60 to 70K loan. And it's not fucking easy. It's probably the hardest shit I've ever done, but I've done it more than enough times throughout a month to realize that, okay, I've developed a skill enough to go maybe do some other stuff outside and make even more money. You know what I mean? So it's all about that. Okay, so once you understand what you're preparing for, why you want to get that end result, and whatever that result may be to you, family, wife, kids, as much money as possible, that's going to, make you the man worthy of a family, wife, and kids, whatever that may be. Then you need to acquire the necessary tools to get to that goal. Those tools are going to be videos like this, books, podcasts, courses. Like right now I'm in another sales course. I'm just learning how to do high ticket sales, learning all the psychological conditions of a buyer, of a seller, and what I need to do as a salesman to justify a purchase, whether that purchase be logical or illogical. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now. And why am I getting that tool? Because I'm going to be running my own business. And how can I have a business if I can't sell somebody else's product? So that's step one for me. What's step one for you? What's step one for you? It could be learning how to even just lay out the steps. This is step one for you. Learn to lay out the steps, and then we go from there. Okay, but after you figure out why you're preparing, what you're preparing for, and then you start acquiring the proper tools, then it's time to execute upon that plan. And my plan for the past year or so was I started off in the warehouse doing nothing. I didn't necessarily have a plan. I would just get money, save up, take girls on dates, do whatever it is, and that's it. And then sooner or later I started to acquire a lot of knowledge with podcasts, and that could be the case for you. Now you're in the stage of learning and just soaking your brain with as much wisdom as possible. The next step for me logically was I need to leverage my brain to try to make money. So what did I do? I was online, I was selling music, I was a producer, I was selling beats online. I was making like 500 to 1,000 a month. It wasn't anything crazy, but I was leveraging my brain, doing a little bit of marketing, cold outreach to potential clients, etc. And then the next logical step was to go to sales. So then I got promoted at my Visions electronics job, where I went from the warehouse to an account manager. So I was just reaching out to clients, trying to sell TVs and laptops and all that kind of stuff. It was cool, but I had to definitely get out of that situation. I won't really talk about that. But then went into car sales. I was at a networking event. I met the sales manager there, and I went into car sales. And then I'm now at a point where it's like, okay, my plan is, it's almost time to leave that kind of situation, right? But I'm going to stick it out and jump over the hurdles required to maximize my situation. Because I don't quit. I just reposition myself. I don't quit. I reposition myself in a more strategic area, and people will say, oh, you got to stick it out, whatever. But no, in my case, I want to, you got to work smarter, not harder. And yeah, that's kind of it. But plan execution. How are you going to execute on that plan? You get the tools, it's time to execute. Execution is the only thing that's going to save you, bro. That's it. So figure out what you're preparing for. When you're watching videos on this, okay, I'm going to watch this because of this. I'm going to do this because of this. I'm going to the gym because of this. I'm going to go do that extra cold call at work because of this, because of that, because of this, because of that. What are you preparing for? It's deeper than just finding out your why. It's what are you trying to build? What is it exactly? Because if you don't know what exactly you're trying to build, you're going to find yourself on a perpetuous loop of just constant input of all this self-development that's going to cause you to just run straight into a wall. You have all this knowledge and have all this wisdom, but it's not getting applied to anything. Therefore, you're not going to see any progress. You're just going to read page after page after page and not see a fucking difference. And I've been through that loop month after month after month, and I wouldn't want you to experience the same. And if you can hear my conviction behind such words, then I hope that you could be a smart enough individual to not fall into that same trap. What are you preparing for? Acquire the right tools and execute. Love you guys. Start off tomorrow strong, G. Peace.